375 million years ago, the oceans were a hyper-competitive battleground, packed with massive, heavily armored predators fighting for survival. Just beyond the shoreline, the terrestrial world was silent. There were no forests or fields, only empty rock stretching out endlessly under the sun. Stepping out of the water was a physical impossibility, comparable to a human stepping into the vacuum of outer space without a spacesuit. Without water for support, gravity becomes a crushing weight against an unsupported skeleton. Gills quickly collapse in the dry air, and rapid dehydration sets in almost immediately. Every land-dwelling animal alive today exists because an ancient aquatic creature, entirely unsuited for these conditions, managed to cross this lethal boundary. In the shallow, muddy floodplains, extreme dry seasons regularly turned massive river systems into rapidly shrinking, deadly pools of water. Fish trapped inside these disappearing puddles faced a final dilemma. They could stay and slowly suffocate, or find a way to reach another body of water. This pressure triggered a mechanism called exaptation. This occurs when a physical trait evolves to solve one immediate problem, but accidentally becomes useful for an entirely different one. Long before animals walked on land, some fish possessed primitive lungs. These acted as backup systems to gulp air when gills failed in oxygen-poor water. Never intended for terrestrial life, they provided the biological hardware needed to survive asphyxiation on dry land. The ability for animals to breathe on land today was an accidental byproduct of fish simply trying to survive a drying swamp. Navigating those shrinking pools required a new kind of movement. Trapped fish had to push through thick, shallow mud to find a new home. These fins thickened into bone, because pushing through heavy mud required far more structural support than swimming through open water. The fossil record reveals an incredible transition. Inside those fleshy swimming fins, a sturdy internal blueprint formed: a single upper bone, two lower bones, and primitive wrist bones. This skeletal architecture allowed the creature to support its mass, turning a fin into a weight-bearing limb. While these fish were struggling in the mud, primitive plants were colonizing the shoreline, stabilizing the soil, and creating the planet's first shaded ecosystems. Shorelines transformed into a resource-rich oasis, teeming with insects and vegetation with zero predators to contend with. By attempting to survive a muddy, oxygen-deprived swamp, a fish equipped with accidental lungs and robust fins was now biologically prepared to exploit a massive ecological opportunity. There was nothing graceful about this transition. Those first excursions onto the shore were terrifying, exhausting, and incredibly awkward. Fighting full gravity and harsh temperature swings simply to reach food or escape a shrinking pool demanded immense biological exertion. Evolution does not prioritize elegance. It rewards the ability to access new resources and stay alive, which made every agonizing drag across the mud a survival success. Over millions of years, these brief trips became permanent. This lineage led to the rise of amphibians, which branched into reptiles, and eventually dinosaurs and mammals. This lineage leads directly to every land-dwelling mammal. Every step you take today is a physical continuation of that ancient struggle to survive on the shoreline. There was never a grand plan. The entire history of life on land is simply the compounded result of blind, desperate attempts to survive a changing environment.